In chapter 11, the authors of the textbook spend a lot of time describing cultural studies and cultural rhetorical studies in relation to critical rhetoric, which was chapter 10. So I want to make sure that we're getting the difference and we're seeing where the huge, because they're not like earth-shattering, but at the same time they are huge, where the huge changes are. So in that very beginning intro of the Cultural Rhetorical Studies chapter, so chapter 11, the authors point out that the question that cultural studies and then cultural rhetorical studies are sitting with is, what do members of a culture take from a pop culture text? And this is important because although I've used examples in this class and I've asked you to use examples in this class of popular culture to analyze rhetorically, historically, there's a lot of rhyming words, rhetoric focused on bigger texts. So presidential speeches or leader speeches or speeches before going into battle, and not songs. Or the way that, Taylor Swift is a fantastic example right now. The way that fans of Taylor Swift wear bracelets to indicate very overtly their fandom, and then that communicates and builds community just because of a piece of jewelry that's being worn. That analysis doesn't start until, and doesn't take on meaning or weight or importance until cultural studies. And if you're looking at the dates in the books, that's the 1990s. That's when theory started caring about and looking at pop culture. So that's the big thing that I want you to take away. Cultural studies looks at, and it's not, is this right or is this wrong? It's not any kind of value judgment. It's what does a member of a group gain from exposure to and work with and negotiation with that pop culture text? What do they get? And so then, as a reminder, they define culture, and they define it a few different times, but it's always coming back to the same thing. Culture is a complete way of life for a group. So although there are subcultures within the dominant culture, American culture is one large thing, and then the subgroups operate within. Where and how the subgroups operate is negotiated or contested. Contested always sounds so harsh. It's negotiated. We are constantly, like every single day, negotiating and renegotiating culture. What's popular, what's not? What memes are we supposed to know, what not? What TV shows are we supposed to watch to talk to these particular people because they're popular right now? All of that is negotiated culture. It's subcultures coming in and subcultures influencing. And we see subcultures influence constantly, especially with music, where and how all of that constantly contested, which is the word the book uses most frequently, but we can also understand it as negotiated. Although we're not actively negotiating culture, we are actively negotiating culture. So I guess it's, we're not consciously negotiating culture. We are subconsciously in our communion with people negotiating culture.